The Phoenix Suns are making moves once again in the second day of the draft as they traded up to select big man Oso Ighodaro. He is from Marquette and has a lot of intangibles and could be a ready to go player for this Suns roster, which could be key for this team as we know they want to make a deep playoff push. We'll be diving in, going over my initial reaction on the Suns selection, while also going over how they got to trade up. All of that and more on this episode of Suns Digest. I'm Bruce Veliz. You guys have been absolutely fantastic hitting that like button and hitting that subscribe button. But as you guys know, 78% of you guys who watch our videos are not subscribed, and we appreciate that number dwindling down. But if you guys want to make sure you stay up to date on everything and even the little tidbits of information like this, hit that subscribe button as this is the place for you. Without further ado, though, let's dive into the topic at hand. Make sure to grab a snack. And like I mentioned, Oso Ighodaro was the selection by the Phoenix Suns. And one good thing to mention about this, CJ told me, is he is from the Phoenix area, born in Arizona, and went to Desert Vista High School, which is absolutely fantastic for a homegrown kid. We want to look into see how the Suns got this pick. As we know, they traded up to pick 40 to select him, which they acquired a second round pick yesterday to do so. So looking at this tweet from Gerald Bourget, we can see that the Suns traded number 56 and number 51 to the Knicks to move up to number 40 for Oso Ighodaro. They acquired number 51 from the Knicks by trading their 2028 second rounder via the Boston Celtics, which was protected from 31 to 45, and then traded it back to the Knicks with 56 to climb up to 40. Even though that's a lot of words, we have it a little bit simplified. So here we go. Suns send their second round pick to the Knicks for pick 51. They get that, and then they also trade 51 and 56 to acquire pick 40, which the Knicks also had in order to move up to make their selection. When looking at Oso's stats, we can see he played at Marquette in the Big East alongside another guy that got drafted in the second round in Tyler Kolek, but he averaged 13.4 points, 6.9 rebounds, and 2.9 assists on 57.6% shooting from the field. Did not attempt a three, but 62.3% from the free throws. Now, when looking at a player like this, we can see from Kellen Olson, from Little Insider Information, that Dunn and Ighodaro, plus an additional future second round pick, he thinks is a good draft. Less critical of the Dunn pick, knowing they got Ighodaro, who is more of a sure thing. Goal was to come out of this draft with at least one rotation player, and odds are great with the context. So honestly, Suns making some smart decisions here and solidifying that wing and big man group on the defensive side. Oso can come in and be a guy who can kind of do everything for this Phoenix Suns team. He doesn't necessarily stand out in one certain aspect, but that's something that you can kind of grow with this potential. And Mike and CJ and I broke down in our deep dive on Ryan Dunn this morning. If you missed that, check that out. We kind of mentioned the same thing where we're just happy that the Suns are actually making these selections. CJ and I kind of talked about it. He said they didn't think they were going to trade up. I said I thought that they were for Tyler Kolek. And even though they didn't trade up for a point guard, the Suns still did what I asked them to do and trading up and getting a better talent in the second round because that's truly what I think they needed. They need players that are going to be ready to go. CJ and I brought how the fact that they have $209 million strapped to their salary cap. They're $20 million over the second apron. They only have 8 guys under roster, which is not good. Obviously, they're going to look to try to bring Royce O'Neal back. With obviously bringing him back, that adds it to 9. Then you obviously factor in these 2 draft picks, that would make it 11. And you're still going to have to make some guys that are vet minimum guys or guys that you could possibly look to bring in, maybe an Andre Drummond or maybe a Kyle Lowry or possibly maybe a Robert Covington or some of those type of guys to possibly help out and be some shooters off the bench alongside some of these veterans. But ultimately, I do think that the Suns did do the right thing, and I am happy with James Jones. I have critiqued James Jones in the past a lot, not to really like go on a rant, but the Bradley Beal trade I wasn't a big fan of. I know that they wanted to move off of Chris Paul's contract, but going after another guy with a no trade clause when you knew that this team built with these 3 guys was not going to work out from everybody else's standpoint. I don't know how him and Matt Ishbia thought that was going to work, but ultimately they'll try to run through it. They'll try to, work with these intangibles, having, some other guys. Like we said, they still don't have that point guard. They still need that veteran point guard. They still need that playmaker, that guy that can set up the offense and get this rhythm really going. Not necessarily needing to be a guy that needs to start at the point guard, but needs to be a veteran guy that can kind of fill in. Like a guy like Kyle Lowry, like a guard like Chris Paul, who could possibly come back to this Suns team that we've seen in the rumors. And either one of those guys, I think, would be a perfect asset to kind of bring in this team, as they can help kind of contend, so they can finish out the games if you need them to, if they're having a good night. But on most nights, they don't necessarily have to finish out the games. Then you have some young depth in that, big man rotation, where really only big man that we truly do have is Yusuf Nurkic, with them letting go of Drew Eubanks. But I think Oso can kind of be that replacement for Drew Eubanks for the Phoenix Suns. And he is a little bit younger than Drew Eubanks, which is nice to see as well. Obviously, he played at Marquette. He was a guy that had a lot of years in college. He was a 4-year player in college. So it's not like Oso's coming in here and is a no young project that they're going to have to build. This guy can be ready to go, fit in with this Suns team. And regardless if it's him or Ryan Dunn that makes that impact defensively and kind of bees that guy that can be an impact player off the bench, that's ultimately what the Suns need, especially if they're looking to bring back possibly guys like Josh Okogie, probably even a guy like Bull. Having these other, defenders and kind of guys interchangeable depending on the night or depending on how people look through training camp and through the first couple of games, ultimately get the Suns a kind of, headspace and what direction they ultimately need to go. But I think the smart direction was to go younger, get some of these younger guys, go after some younger talent, because I think that's the best decision for the Phoenix Suns. Ultimately, we have these guys that are older on these bigger types of contracts, guys like Durant, guys like Beal, guys like Booker. And even though Booker is still in his mid 20s, once he gets to his 30s, guys like Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal possibly might not be here through to all the rumblings and rumors and stuff like that. In 2 to 3 years, who knows if they're going to be here on this squad. So the Suns getting those extra players, getting that extra draft capital, and being able to get a high impact player and kind of trade up, I think was the best of both worlds. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. How do you guys feel about the Suns selection here in the second round? Do you guys think it was a home run pick? Do you guys think that this guy is going to blossom? He is that center that we kind of, or power forward that can be that impact player for us for in the future? Or do you honestly think that the Suns kind of messed up? They needed that point guard. They should have went somewhere else, and they should have drafted a different position. I want to know your thoughts. I want to know everything you guys are thinking, because you guys are the absolute world. You guys have been showing the best support over here on Suns Digest. We're absolutely climbing up through the ranks over the last couple weeks, putting up the videos, and we can't do it without your guys' help. So I want to say thank you guys so much. If you enjoy the content, if you want to make sure you stay up to date on everything revolving around this team, free agency starts next Saturday. We'll have some stuff coming out revolving around the team then as well. So you want to make sure you stay up to date. You want to make sure you stay tapped in all the news. Suns Digest is the place for you. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We really would appreciate it over here. Once again, I'm Bruce Velez. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of Suns Digest, where we broke down Oso Ighodaro, the Suns' second selection in the NBA draft. I'll catch you guys in the next video. We'll have a deep dive kind of going in him on more maybe tomorrow. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out. Have a great rest of your day, and go Phoenix Suns.